Welcome back, friends. In the next video in C programming language, the most important topic in connection with functions of C programming language, we'll talk about this two very important topic today. One is call by value and the other one is call by reference. Call by reference. Before this, we had a discussion about types of function. We had a discussion about library function and user defined function. We have also seen what are the different categories of function, like function with argument, without argument, returning value, returning no value, like that. In every aspects we have clearly discussed about the functions in C. Now the next and vital topic, not only for your interview room but also for the examination, for your semester examination, this concept is very vital. There is a chance you might get a question from this. Can you please tell me the difference between call by value and call by reference? Or there might be a question, can you please explain what is call by value and what is call by reference with an example, right? And we will try to understand this concept, right? Let us start without wasting time. Few things that we require from the functions point of view. We should understand what are actual arguments and what are formal arguments, right? So in call by value and call by reference, we have to be very keen about the different types of functions that we have covered. Two things we require. One thing, we should not worry about what my function will return. We are least concerned about that. In call by, I repeat, in call by value and call by reference, we are very less concerned about the return type that this function will return, to the main function or to the calling function where it is being called, right? Function, we are talking about function with argument and without argument. Without argument don't help me in call by value and call by reference, and we are only looking at function with argument. Doesn't matter function with argument returning value or function with argument returning no value. We don't require all that. Now you will agree with me, whenever we are creating a function with argument, we have two sets of different functions. Like we have three sections. One is a declaration section, one is a function definition section, and one is a function calling section. So three sections are there, right? The argument type in both of these three sections, the number and the order of argument types should have same. We have clearly discussed about all these points in the previous videos. In case you missed those videos, please go back and see those videos and come back here so that we can discuss about this point. And I'm not interested to repeat all those things here once again. If you miss, I request all of you, please go back and see that video and come back here. We can start the discussion, right? So here I'm intending to say is, while defining the function, the arguments that we have defined or argument that we have specified at the time of function definition are called as formal arguments, right? And while calling the function, the arguments that we have passed from calling function to called function are called as actual parameters. You should understand about these two terminology, because throughout this video we'll be talking about actual argument and we'll talking about formal arguments. So one thing I just want to repeat here, otherwise this video might be incomplete with this term. One is actual argument, and the second one is formal argument. One thing is pretty clear, the data type or the number and the order of formal argument should be equal with the actual argument. Actual argument belongs to calling function, and formal argument belongs to function definition. You should remember this point, right? Okay. Now at some point of time you will agree with me, whenever we are discussing things, formal arguments are always variables. These are always variables. If I'm talking about the C programming language, these are always variables. They cannot be a constant. Remember this point. They can't be a constant. But actual argument, they can be constant. They can be variable, isn't it? Up to this discussion, this is fine. They can be a constant or they can be a variable. But remember, even if they are constant, Even if they are constant, even if they are variable, the data type should be matched with the formal definition. This is recommended, not mandate. For mandatory case, we can have a separate video and we'll see what is applicable to where. Let us not discuss in that way. Let us not discuss in that way, right? Now, okay. Or in general terms, if you define actual parameters, the arguments that are passed in the function call are called as actual argument, and the arguments which are defined at the time of function definition is called as formal argument, right? Now, in terms of types of argument, types of actual argument or types of formal argument, we can divide the function into two categories. One is call by value and the second one is call by reference, right? By default, C programming language defines all the functions by call by value. We'll understand these two things very clearly. Before getting into this, let us understand this one through a small example, right? Even if those are actual argument or formal argument, suppose I'm talking about actual argument. Now listen very carefully. You know, always the actual argument is passed to formal argument. Now, if the value of the actual argument, remember this diagram. This is very easy and easier to remember. If the actual argument will change, not can, will change, if yes and if no. Actual argument can change. If it can change, yes, the function through which I can change the actual argument with the help of formal arguments, I'll call that function as call by reference. Remember this point. And if I cannot change the value of actual argument with the help of formal argument, I'll call that one as call by value. The first and the important point of call by value and call by reference. Using call by value, the value of actual argument cannot be changed. With the help of call by reference, we can able to change the value of actual argument, right? Make sure you understand these 2 points. Now let's get into both of them, call by value and call by reference. We'll see some points in call by value and some points in call by reference. Now the first point, in call by value, the values are passed from actual argument to formal argument. What is passed? Values are passed. Make sure you understand. Remember this point. We'll explain each and every point through an example. Don't worry. From an actual argument to formal argument, or in other words, from a calling function to the called function, right? Okay. Number two. Now the next biggest question is, whenever I am passing a value from actual argument to formal argument, the question is, for both these variables, different memory locations will be created or same memory location will be created? For actual argument, same memory location will be created or different memory location will be created, or they used to share the same memory location or different memory location. Remember this point. The actual argument and formal argument requires different memory location. The memory location cannot be same. That is the reason, if any change in formal argument does not make any change or does not make any change in the actual argument. This is the major difference between call by value and call by reference. Means in call by value, we cannot change the value of actual argument. I repeat, we cannot change the value of actual argument with the help of formal argument. Even if the value is passed from actual to formal, still we cannot able to change the value of actual argument with the help of formal argument. Remember this point because they used to share different memory location. We'll understand this one with an example, don't worry. Now, the last point. I think these 3 points are important. You can go through that. The last point I should definitely share with you. By default, Turbo C language or GCC language defines all the functions by call by value. Call by, but if you want to go for call by reference, explicitly you have to define that function. This is implicit function definition, right? Let us go for an example. Suppose we are going for an example. That example is the famous and the basic example used by any of the programmer, any of the instructor, any of your lecturer in the classroom, that is swapping of two numbers. We'll also use that same function, swapping of two numbers. I hope you know this program. We'll take two variables a and b and we'll assign some value to this, and we'll follow some we'll write a function which will change the value of a to b and value of b to a, right? This is what our requirement is. Now let us write that program. Let us go to this C environment. We'll directly write the program there, and I'm trying to explain the entire thing. So what I'm writing here, I'm writing void main here. Sorry, I'm writing void main here. I'm taking two variables. A is 10. If you want, you can also go for scanf and printf. I'm not going for that one. Let me print printf values before swap. If I print those two values before swapping, I'll write printf. I'll go for /n. In the next line, I want to print %d and %d. So the values are, or if you want, you can go for very specifically a is equal to %d, b is equal to %d. Now here I am writing a comma b. After then, what we want to swap the value of these two variables with a function called as swap. Here I want to pass the values a and b, right? And then in the next step, what we want to do, we want to check whether the values have been changed or not. Here what I am writing, values after swap function is called. Swap is called through call by value. We'll see what is the difference in these two. So let us write that swap function. Now as you can see, I have to write a swap function. We'll take two arguments. I'll write integer. I can go for integer a and b. I can also go for integer m and n. We have discussed this particular part in the last video. Please, if you could not able to understand, please refer that video. You can easily able to understand. This is a simple program. I'll go with int temp equals to int temp. So 2-3 steps. Temp equal to m equals to n, and n equals to temp. And finally what we need to do, we need to print both the values. I'm writing printf %d. Suppose I'm writing after swapping printf %d and %d. I'm writing both of them. M followed by n. Now that's it. Let us execute this program. There are some errors. Let me check where the errors are. Sorry, there is no dot, there is semicolon, there is comma, right? Now if I go back and see, let me put /n everywhere so that it will be pretty clear. We can able to understand the whole thing very clearly. /n I should write here. Here I should write a /n also. And if you want, let me put a CLR SCR here. That will give me clear-cut clarity. Now if I execute this program, look at the output. Values before swap, a is equal to 30 and b is equal to 30, right? After swapping, again a and b After swapping, that says 30 and 10. Values after swap is called through call by value. Can you see that? The value are in the main function a and b, both are same. Those two values have not changed. I'll explain why. Don't worry. But after swapping, it has been changed to 30 and 10, right? Okay. Now let us see what is happened there. Let us see what is happened there. And you can clearly see from that example, whenever we said, let me copy that program to the editor, then it will be very easy for us to understand what is happening there. What was the name of the program? Let me check. The name of the program is tryy.c. So what we will do, we'll copy that program. tryy.c. Here it is. Since we are running that editor, it will not be visualized there. So what we'll do, let me close this one. Let me see, because I don't want to write the entire program one more time. Let me copy this program so that it will be easier for me to make you understand. So this is the program that we have created now. Now let us understand this program step by step. This is call by value. Now what is happening? In the first case, when main method is called, you know, for every method call, a separate frame is created. Now let us do that. A frame is created for main function. Make sure you are attentive and you are listening to what I'm trying to tell. Immediately we have created two variables a and b. You know, whenever we are writing int a and int b, two memory locations is created. One having name a, one having name b. First having value 10, second having value 30, right? Now then I have tried to display that 10 and 20, so happily 10 and 30 has been displayed. Now I have called swap ab. Definitely what is going to happen there? Swap followed by 10 and 30, a and b. So what is there? Value of a is transferred, value of b is transferred. Now the question is, to where it is transferred? To the function called as swap. Now for swap, a memory location is created. Remember this point. For swap, the memory location is created, right? Now let us scroll this one. Okay. Now let me change the color also. Now for swap, I have created two local variables. One is m. Now value of m will be the first value that I have called through the actual argument, and value of n will be 30 as the second argument. You know, first value will go to the first argument, second value will go to the second argument. This is only one-way communication, no two-way communication, right? Now for m, you will agree with me, a space is reserved whose value will be 10. For n, one more value will be reserved, which will be 30. Now here the memory location for a and b and the memory location for m and n, all these are different or same? Definitely if the memory location will be 101 here, if it will be 301, definitely these two have a different memory location. And whenever one value is passed here, there is no more relationship between these two functions, right? Now immediately I have created one more variable, temp. Now when I say temp is equal to m, you know, value of m will be assigned to temp variable. Now temp will be 10. Next I have written m is equal to n. What this function will do? This function will assign the value of n into m. What was the value of n? Value as n was 30. Now m will be replaced by 30. Make sure you understand this point. Now what will be the value of n now? N will be assigned with the value of temp. Temp is 10, so now 30 will be changed to temp. Now if I print m and n, of course I will be getting 30 and 10. Remember, listen to this particular program. Value of m and n is changed. My question is, so these are formal arguments, right? Now the m and n, with the changing of m and n, does it reflect to a and b? Because m and n no way related to a and b. So by changing the value of m and n, it don't have any effect on the value of a and b, because value or variable a and b will belongs to a different memory frame called as main, and this one is declared within a different memory frame called as swap. So even after this, if I'm trying to print the value of a and b, I'll get same 10 and 30, not 30 and 10, because 30 and 10 is the local variable of swap function. These two are no way related to the main function, and this is possible only in case of call by value. I repeat, in call by value, what exactly happened? This is a one-way communication from calling function to called function. The values are only passed. Value of m is equal to value of a, value of n is value of b. Now this is the only way of communication. The reverse way is not possible. That means in no way I can change the value of a and b with the help of m and n in this scenario. If your function behaves like this, this is a function called as call by value, right? The major intention of call by value is to retain the value of actual argument, or any changes in the formal argument does not reflect on the changes of actual argument. I hope you understand this point, right? Let's talk about, you can tell me, sir, here few problems are there. The problems are, we have to take two more variables, you might call that, and the original value is not changed, and what we need to do, we need to print this one here. Again, the problem is every function in C cannot return more than one value. That is again one of the properties of functions in C, right? Okay. Now let us look at call by reference. As the name suggests, what we'll do, instead of passing the value, we need to pass the address. Let me copy this one. We'll change accordingly so that I don't have to write the entire. Here, instead of values are passed, what are passed? References are passed. References, or you can say address of memory location of pass. Address of location is passed from actual argument to formal argument. Since values are values or references or addresses are passed, definitely actual argument will give you the address. And what will be the type of formal argument? Definitely you will say, since these are passing address, we will definitely require a variable called of type pointer, because pointer is the only variable in C environment which can hold the address. No other variable can able to hold the address, if I am not wrong, right? Okay. So here the formal argument has to be what? Has to be a pointer variable. Make sure this is the first difference. But in call by value, no such requirements are there. Number one. Number two, the actual and formal argument require different, even if the pointer variable require a different memory location. Since this is a pointer, through the formal argument, we can reach out to the actual argument. The actual argument, formal argument definitely require different memory location. 100% pakka, no problem in that. But here you can add one point. But through the actual argument, through the formal argument, we can reach out to actual argument. Remember, you understood this point, because we are taking formal argument as a pointer variable. Now through pointer, we can point out to the original variable whose address is stored. Now, since they are pointing to the same memory location, the actual argument and formal argument pointing to the same memory location, any changes in the formal argument, I can say, can change in the actual argument. Now the value of actual argument can be changed with the help of formal argument. So this is not the case call by value. This is the case to which we can say this is call by reference. One thing here you have to make sure, at some point of time we have discussed the actual arguments are always what? Either they can be a constant or they can be a variable. That is only true for call by value. But for call by reference, make sure actual arguments are mandate to be variable, not constant. Remember this point. They are mandate to be a variable, not a constant. We cannot say constant, reference of constant we can pass. No, we cannot pass. Make sure you know this point. Now let us understand this particular one through an example. Then you could able to understand the difference between call by value and call by reference. Let us go back and we'll rewrite the same program. We'll rewrite the same program with the help of C editor. Give me some time. Let my editor starts. Then we'll go through. Fantastic. Now this is the program we have written before. Now here let us write the prototype. Prototype is not mandate here because all the types are integers, so that's why we have not written. But here we require something else. Swap. What we require for argument type require is integer pointer. Definitely the second one will be integer pointer, right? Right. Now instead of passing, now everything else is same. Instead of passing thus, instead of passing the value, what we are passing address of A and address of B. You know, if I put an address of operator before any variable, what it is going to pass? It will going to pass the address stored at this particular variable. Don't worry, we'll also take this example. Now before swapping the value of A and B, this values after swap is called through call by reference. This is what called as call by reference. Let us see the difference. Reference, right? Same. We'll go with the same program. Now let us define that. Now instead of m and n, we need a pointer variable. We are just discussing why we are requiring a pointer variable, because we are passing the address. Now to hold the address, only in pointer variable can help me. Now value at address m. I hope you understand this pointer arithmetic or pointer variable, how these are worked. Now I don't require these two here. Let us see. There is an error. What is the error? Redeclaration. I should go for void. Fine. Now it goes success. Now see, previously what it says, if I'll go back to the output, what it says, value before swap, A is equal to 10, B is equal to 30. Values after swap is called through call by reference. What? The same A variable in the main function has changed its value from 10 to 30, and same B is changed to 10. But in call by value, if you can recall, that was same because they used to share different memory locations, right? Let us understand. I hope you all could able to understand this one. Let me take this program to my editor, then I'll try to explain the entire thing with all of you so that you can understand. Let me copy this one and let me go back to my editor. Right. Now this is call by reference. Now let us see what is going to happen. We'll see this through that memory's frame itself. Now immediately when main function is called, same A is created with a memory location. A is created here. The value of A is 10. Now the value of B is 30. Now you'll agree with me, for every variable there is a memory address. Suppose it is 201. This is 301. Then immediately value is printed 10 and 20. The first part is done. Sorry, 10 and 30. I'm sorry. First part is done. Now come down to the second part, that is calling up the swap function. Now swap function has been called, but here look at the difference. Whenever I'm calling a swap function, how I used to call that one? Address of A. What is the address of A? Address of A is 201. So instead of passing 10 and 30, I'm passing 201 and 301, right? Now here a separate frame will be created for swap. Now for swap, the pointer m will contain the address of A, pointer n will contain the address of A. So here m and n are created. The value of m, let me draw this one with a bigger size, so that will help us to understand. Here it is. Now the value of m. What is the value of m? What exactly m is? M is a pointer variable. Similarly, n is also a pointer variable. What is the value of m now? Look at here. The value of m is the address of a. What is the address of a? Address of a is 301. So 201. 201 is stored in m. Now value of n. N is again a pointer variable. It can hold the address of b. Right? Now what is the address of b? Address of b is 301. Right. Now I am again declaring one more variable called as temp. Definitely temp has a location, but I have not put anything in temp. Fine. So let us understand. If I write m only, we'll say, sir, this will print value 301. But if I print value at m, what it is going to print? Value at m means I am pointing to the variable whose address is stored at m. This variable is called as value at address, right? Or this is called as pointer m. So what is the value present at m? 201 is the value present at m. Again 201 is the address of a, right? So what is the value present at 201? The value present at 201 is 10. Got my point? The value present at this particular address is 10. So immediately it will able to interact with the variable which is located at mainframe. Right? Previously in call by value, these are local variables. Now these are not local variables. With the help of this formal argument, we can also reach out to the actual argument. Right? Let us see what is going to happen. Now, whenever I write temp is equal to value at address m, what happens? Now what will be the value of temp? What is the value present at this particular location? Now what is the value of m first? Value of m is 201. Listen to this. What is the value present at this particular address? Because this operator is called as value at address operator, right? Now value present at this address, what is the which one is contains the address of this one? You will say, sir, a variable's address is 201. Value at address 201 means directly I am saying value at a. So what is the value at a? 10. So immediately temp will get 10. I hope you understand this point. Now the next point, value at address m equals to value at address n. Now if this is the case, if you can recall, at some point of time, if I'm writing a is equal to b, what happens? Value of b will be assigned to a, right? Similarly, value present at this will be assigned to the variable present at this. Now what is the variable present at value at address m? M refers to a, right? So it is written like a is equal to value at address n. What is the value present at this particular address? Is 30. So what it does? It says a is equal to b. That means this 10 is now replaced with 30. Understood? See, the variable present at main is directly changed. So a now becomes 30. Similarly, when I say value n equals to 10, the same. What is the value at 10? It was 10. What is this particular one refers to? 301 refers to b. Now 30 will be replaced by the value present at 10. So value of a and b both are changed or not? With the help of this formal argument, we could able to change the actual argument. So this is what called as call by reference. By using call by reference, we can happily say we can able to change. Yes, we can able to change the value of actual argument with the help of formal argument. Make sure you understand all these points. In call by value, actual arguments cannot be changed because values are passed. In call by reference, actual arguments can be changed because we are passing addresses. We are not passing values. Your address are passed. In call by value, values are passed. That is the only difference, right? I hope you could all able to understand all these points. Whenever there will be a difference between call by value and call by reference, you can refer to all these points and you can happily go with the simple example, right? Thank you so much for joining. In the next video